Hey you guys, all right, so here we are. In true me review form, y'all know if I review a bag, makeup's a little different. I mean, I do keep things for a long time before I actually talk about them. We're gonna finally do the boob video. Okay, it's been 5 years and I wanna get into a lot of stuff. This is gonna cover a lot. My opinion has not changed on this, as I've stated in I think a couple previous videos where I have really done large, maybe not even large, maybe 5 to 10 minute like spiels about getting fake boobs, getting breast implants, not even my experience, but just my thought on it. Always open from day one, of getting them. It's never been, oh, I don't want to talk about it because I don't want people to know. Never the case. I've DM'd so many people that ask questions. I've talked about it here and there on Instagram, but I've never done this video almost to like exploit this topic, which I know that a lot of people will watch to get views, and that's not what people do that do it or that take you along for their whole journey. But to me, I never felt right about that. I always got an icky feeling about from the jump spilling everything, or oh, let me tell you all this, or let me give you every tip or everything that just all the details. Can you see my nasty smoothie here? Sorry about that. I never wanted to do that because I know if I show a top, if I show a makeup product, if I say, hey, Brad and I are doing this, or we're going here, people are going to look into that and they might be influenced to do so. And medical procedures, breast implants, anything from Botox, injectables, which everything I've always been very open about, are dangerous. And especially, it's so dependent on the surgeon. Is everyone going to go who I went to? Probably not. You could go to someone that really, I just don't want anyone to get excited, anyone to be naive about it, anyone to take any advice on YouTube about these matters. So here I am doing a YouTube video about it. This YouTube video is about the fact that you should do your own research. You should be smart. You should, and I'm gonna get worked up talking about this because I do feel so strongly about it, but in turn, I do have a lot to share. And 5 years later, I'm at a point where, yeah, I know that they didn't, in these last years or in this particular point affect me adversely. I feel like I've taken better care of myself, doing the things that you have to do to get them checked out those first few years, and doing things like, I don't know, just, we'll get into that too. But things that no one told me, things that I was recently sharing with a friend that she was like, I've never heard anyone say this. And they were some of the biggest pieces of advice, or not advice, but biggest things I would tell anyone that I know that's getting them done. And I've never heard anyone say this either. So I thought, you know what? At the same time, I can be very cautionary in telling you about this, but also tell you about my experience, because it is my experience, in a way that should not be like, I don't want to influence anybody to do anything, but I'm telling you, if you're already in a spot where you're considering this, hopefully this will help. And I think telling my story from how, just the mindset of it, why, when, how, I think maybe it could make some people feel a little better about themselves and maybe feel like you don't need it. And if you're already considering it, hopefully I give you some good tips and maybe teach you a few things. So yeah, about, oh my gosh, it was a couple weeks ago. I posted that photo in that black top and someone was commenting, oh, not many people comment, oh, your boobs look good, whatever. When are you ever gonna do a video about your boobs? Like, I wanna see, and I commented, which I've commented this so many times, if anyone ever notices in a photo or they say, have you ever talked about your boob job, or have you ever, I'm always like, yeah, I've talked about it several times. I have a few videos, but then in my mind, I think those videos weren't called boobs or this or that. I don't know where those videos are, so how am I supposed to direct them to where? I'm like, I would like a video that is kind of, okay, comprehensive. Do you know what I mean? I've had them for 5 years, as I said, 32, right at 33. Right? I think I was 32 when I got my consultation, and I think I was right around my birth, whatever, I don't know, okay, 32 or 33, I don't remember, but it's been 5 years. And so, I had no, tiny, but not even like an A, and I was cute and everything, but I was never like, I never looked at people that had giant boobs thinking, wow, the dream, like I need big boobs to fulfill something. It was just literally like, I want to be able to shop for bathing suits. I want to fit into this. I want to look proportionate. It wasn't like bigger boobs are better. It was just like, I want to look proportionate in this top. This is the main thing. After I got them done, like I said, I just instantly felt like they were a part of me. I expected it to be like such a dramatic difference, and it is. But I instantly felt good about them. Again, I feel like they're right for my body. They're not too big. They're not too small. They can look all different ways, you know? Like, I like that. You know, I like that I can look, you know, I'm not out there all, you know, I don't look like cartoon boobs all the time. But they can look, you know, they can look crazy if I want to. But I feel like after getting this done, for me, I feel more true to myself and less fake than I did before, because from the time I hit puberty, I mean, not so much that, but like when I was a little older, padded bras were life. And I felt like, not a fraud, but like I wore them just to look proportionate. Not to say, look, I have bigger boobs, which I totally did not look like big boobs by any means. It wasn't because I wanted to have big boobs. It was because I just wanted to look proportionate in clothing. You know what I mean? Or wear certain bathing suits that were really padded. I'm like, I don't want to be doing this. And now I love that the day that I threw all those padded bras away, you know, knowing that, I don't know, it's a good feeling. Went through high school, no problems. I was fine. You know what I mean? I was fine. Don't ever let boobs like define you or whatever. I had boyfriends. I felt good about myself. I felt confident. It was never an issue. Went through college, got married, went through all my 20s, and it was never like, oh, I really want to get this done, but I'm not going to. I just never thought, am I gonna like really take that leap? Am I gonna have this procedure? I'm gonna do whatever. Had a baby. Whole life I heard, when you're pregnant, you know, your boobs will come in. Okay, when I was pregnant, my rib cage got huge, and I had to get literally like a very large around, you know, bra. But the cup size, a little bit bigger, but they were just like hard milk boobs because I had no breast tissue. But if you don't, and I know people are like, you had to have some breast tissue. I'm talking like teeny tiny, okay? And I hate that when people say, oh, I have no boobs. I've seen this my whole life. Oh, I'm so flat. And they're literally like a full B, okay? And I'm like, no, you're good. Trust me, you're fine, okay? Or even like a good A. I'm just saying, very tiny, okay? After that, they were just back to normal. Fine, good, whatever. But then I was like, you know what? When Olivia was, Olivia was about like 2-ish, you know? And I thought, I'm gonna do this. I went through a C-section. I went through all that. I'm gonna do this. I had talked to several people that had gone to the same doctor. And again, maybe that's something that, I mean, not everybody could have that situation, but I do think it's important to talk to people that you know that might have that. Where did you go? What did you like? What did you not like? Research things around you. Is this who's known for boobs? Don't go to someone that's known for facial surgery for your boobs. Go to someone that's really a boob doctor. Do you know what I'm saying? It just ended up working out with that one doctor. I'd say go to several if you're unsure, but it is very much like word of mouth. It's very much like know their credentials. From the top, my biggest piece of advice, they have to be board certified, obviously. They've got to be kind of known for doing a lot of boobs. And then also make sure that the doctor has privilege at a hospital. That means like if the doctor ever wanted to use the hospital for anything, they could. A lot of doctors don't have that. You'll see someone in a strip mall, like, and that's not bad, but I'm just saying, I'm not going to judge that because there's great people that do that too, but I'm saying it just speaks to the reputation of the doctor and their credentials if they have privilege at a hospital. Okay, that doesn't mean that they're operating at the hospital, but my doctor's actual surgical center is on the campus of a hospital, which he has all these like accolades for the whatever. I really, really liked him. I just thought this is a good fit. Plastic surgery is one of those things that can get very unhealthy, literally mentally unhealthy. And if you go to someone bad, you could die. This is just my experience, but like my whole message here is to be cautious and to not take what I say as my experience, maybe kind of use that to but everything I say is cautionary. And I finally did decide to do it. I was at a good place. Mentally, I thought, you know what, I'm 33, I'm gonna do this. This is a time in my life, how old was I? I remember him writing 33, like I would be 33 when okay, whatever. So we're trying to figure out like to get a mammogram before or whatever, which before you get your boobs done, it is a good idea. My doctor recommended to get a mammogram to start as a baseline so that on the day of surgery, if he got in there and saw something, I mean, they'll stop the surgery. So it's a good idea to go ahead and get that even if you're a bit younger. That's a good idea, whatever. Maybe your doctor will recommend it. Maybe they won't. Maybe you just want to do that for your own peace of mind. And of course, I've had them since. So for me, yeah, I was doing this from a place of, okay, I'm a little older at this point. Certainly 32, 33 is young, but I was like, okay, I'm not getting it in my early 20s, which I'm glad I didn't, because now I'm glad I got like fresh, good boob. You know what I mean? I've waited till after I've had a child, and not that that's good or bad. You can get great results either way with that. But I'm just saying I'm happy that I did wait, because I think if I would have gotten them done in my early 20s, I would have wanted something much different. I don't know where I would have been mentally at that point if I would have started getting plastic surgery or doing something like that. I'm glad that I kind of went through all those years. Again, it's not good or bad to wait. I'm just saying for me, I like that I did that, because when it was time to do it, I just felt like, okay, I'm doing this for myself. I've got a healthy marriage. I'm not doing this to go try to like make myself something I'm not, to like say, okay, I hate to even say that, because I do think whatever, but I just felt like, okay, everything else in my life is good. I'm going to do this for myself. And it's one of the best things I ever did. Now, right away, I didn't want to talk about it, because I thought, what if it does? People talk about breast implant illness. We'll talk about that too. What if that happens? I'm not going to be doing this video and, oh, guys, look at my great experience, but I don't know. I'm a couple hours out. The biggest thing that I hear, people say, what size are you? I like the way you look. What size are you? So I started, okay, I have a 425 cc on each side. Now, I started with nothing. A 425 implant's pretty big, okay? Now, I'm just like a D now. I'm a good like size D. When I'm wearing a top like this, it looks proportional, but it doesn't look cartoony. Not that big boobs look cartoony, but if you get fake big boobs on a frame that doesn't match, they can look cartoony, okay? But I wanted them to look proportionate, a good size, but then yet when I do wear a swimsuit, a certain type of swimsuit or a certain type of top, they can look real out there too, you know what I mean? I'll tell you the type and all that in a second, but we're talking about size, which is very important. Now, if you say, oh, I like the way Tiffany looks, I want to be a full D, I'm going to get a 420, you might end up with a double, triple H, J, if you start even with a B. Do you know what I'm saying? Even, or if you're a little saggy or whatever, and you start with like, okay, well, I'm technically a C, maybe they'll do a lip, and then you're going to be, so the starting point is so important, and it's not about the CCs, unless if you are talking to someone who is the exact makeup as you are, has the exact breast tissue, the exact frame, the exact shape, you're never going to talk to anybody like that. I'm sorry, even if you think you're the same, like bra size, they're going to be different shape. Just don't ever take anyone's CCs seriously. When you go to your doctor, you'll try on spacers. No, what were they called? Sizers. You'll try those on, and it's basically just bras that have the size of CCs in it that lay over your natural boobs, and then you put your top on, and you think, okay, Now, if you put on a 4, you might be like, what the hell is this, And you also need to go to a doctor that can look at. Well, I remember when I went in and I told him what I wanted. He kind of was like, I think you're going to be around like a 4, he's like, I would say a 450, 4, and I even think sometimes I could have gone a little bigger. I'm glad I didn't go any smaller, but that messes with your mind, and we'll get to that. Don't think that, okay? But he said that, and I remember in my mind, I had been doing research, and I had seen, about a 250, 300. So when he said 450, I thought, this guy's crazy. He's going to make me look like a clown. But then when I put on the 2, I was like, wait a minute, this is like nothing. The 200 is going to do nothing for me, And then, whereas for you, you might be a double D with a 200. You might be a double D with a 100. It's all about your starting point and what they're going to do. If they're going to do it's just all a thing, okay? And your doctor will let you know the size based on the size that you want to be. So you can say, I want to be a D, whatever. Okay, we'll put on the, and then you talk, you figure it out, you kind of, there's a lot of talking. You don't just go in and say, hey, I want to be this. And he's like, yep, that's what you do. He kind of told me that, and I was like, this, and then he was like, yeah, let's try, let's see. So then I realized, okay, and then I learned a lot about how your starting size really matters. Okay, now I have friends who got breast implants. Maybe they were a B, maybe they were a C, but they were very saggy, or they got like a lift, but they already had breast tissue and a pocket. So when they got that implant, sure, they're going to be sore, they're going to be down for the count for a a couple of days just because of the incision, because it's gonna be so, for me, this is the problem. When you start with nothing and you go into that giant implant, it's almost like, you know, when people get like reconstructive surgery or whatever, and you're going from really very little, if not any, breast tissue to then they're going to put in an implant, which is going to be all of your boob, which, I mean, essentially that's what mine are. It's like my whole boobs, you know what I mean? Like very little natural breast tissue. But when that happens, or when they do that, they put in those spacers to expand your pocket to make it comfortable for you. And I'm not saying that's what they should do because they know what they're doing. I'll tell you exactly what kind of implants I have and everything in a second, and how they did it and where they went and all that. But when you start very small, do know that you're gonna be in some serious pain those first several days. And you're not gonna, like I have a friend, oh, I was driving the week after. I was down. I mean, I was really not good for like several weeks, like really sore. Like my incisions were great. They healed beautifully. Like you can't even see them. They're just right under here, right in the fold. So, I mean, I'm glad that's where they did it, because you seriously you can't see them at all. Like you'd never know. And they healed really well. But it was just, you know, going under the muscle, which they do with implants. You don't see, if they went over the muscle, you'd literally see the implant. Do you know what I'm saying? Under the muscle is usually, and if when you go under the muscle, it pushes the natural tissue out, so that then when you have mammograms, you can see you can see breast cancer, see things easier, from what I know, from what I've heard. But do your own research on that, because sometimes for whatever medical reason, they may want to go under or may want to go above the muscle. Mine are under. It was painful pushing that, the muscle spasms. That was what hurt, was just like, oh, like intense muscle pain, stretching. I remember I felt like they were gonna my skin was so tight, you know? And it is a thing, it's a recovery process, but you have to be aware. And that's what I was telling my friend who also has like smaller boobs. You gotta be aware that your experience isn't gonna be like what your friend had if she started with a B and just like got a smaller implant to be a D or whatever. Or maybe she was on her second round of implants and she's like, it was nothing. They just put them out, put the other ones in. Nothing to stretch, nothing to feel. It just felt uncomfortable So just know that it's not always comfortable. It's not always like an easy thing. So the type I got were silicone, and they were a type, I'm not gonna tell you like the brand and this now or whatever, because I mean, I don't know. But they were like a memory type, and there's certain ones over the years with any brand, with any type, that have been like recalled. I mean, it's a medical device. You know, they tell you when you get, you have to sign so much paperwork about breast implant illness. It's not, people are talking about breast implant illness as if it's a new thing. It's not. All that is, it's terrible, but if you put anything foreign in your body, from a chin implant, not even but just a filler or butt implant, anything, I'm not trying to, but I'm just saying anything you put into your body can reject if it's a foreign substance or a foreign thing, whether it's made perfectly, whether it's perfectly done or not. Your body makeup, and you will truly not know that until you get this done, could reject them. Now, I have heard of a couple people that have had this, and personally, and someone in like a famous person that I don't know. And they were all, and I hate to say this, but they were all saline implants. I'm sure there's people that have had silicone implants do this as well. It's not the filling, okay? Silicone is not something that you want in your body if it leaks. Now, the type of implants I have, if it leaks, it almost like seals. I don't know, but it's still, you gotta get it out. But the boob goes hard, so you know. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you'll know. Your boob, I don't want to be like feeling my boobs. Your boob will feel different. With saline, but you know, it doesn't go anywhere, because it's, slowly, years and years, if you didn't know, but these go hard, so you know. Also, if you have a saline implant, which saline isn't poisonous to your body, it's just like salt water. If that goes flat, if that ruptures, your boob just instantly goes flat. But it's about the casing. Now, the casings are different on both. And when you talk about breast implant illness, it's not a result of, the silicone was leaking. That's like silicone poisoning. Or, you're never going to get it if you have saline, because saline's not poisonous. It's about the casing. This is something that happens almost instantly. Over the first few months, when you have them, you'll notice, maybe I have more inflammation. Things are happening in my body. Have you ever been sick, or your body's been fighting something really gnarly? Your body aches. Now imagine if that happened over such a long time, you get inflammation. your body's gonna start like shutting down, and you might start having certain problems with different organs or whatever, because literally all of your body's strength is going to fight some sort of foreign substance. And so your body sometimes will pick up on the implant, and it usually does, is something that if it's going to happen, typically happens right away, and it might come on a little slow, but it's a thing that happens. And I've known someone that had a lot of silicone implants over the years, like from early silicone implants, always had silicone ones, and has had them changed a couple of times. Then they got saline, and suddenly that happened, and they got them removed, and now they're, fine. I know someone that was kind of famous that also happened to. I don't know this person, but I heard their story. And then I know someone who had their first set were saline, and it's all, I don't know. And silicone, I'm sure there's thousands of stories that have happened with that as well. But what I'm trying to say to you is that it's an individual thing. It is based, I think, largely on the implant type. I don't think there's some magic type that's going to work for anybody. Otherwise, that's all they'd sell. I do like mine. They're called like some sort of memory gel, and there's thousands of different memory gels. So don't look it up and say, oh, this memory gel type's bad. There are bad ones, there are good ones, but there's tons of different types of them. Mine are round, high profile. I didn't get the teardrop ones because I don't have a natural I literally did not have a natural breast shape. It was just, and then my nipples were good. So now I feel like they look really good because now these have kind of settled in a good way. And honestly, I will say it took like, people say, oh, they'll settle in a couple months. Mine took like 3 years they looked good from the beginning, but they were high and tight, okay? I feel like now, especially like over time of like, you don't have to wear a bra. And I'm not saying if you've got heavier implants, but even with bigger implants, I thought to myself, this is gonna be such a foreign feeling right away when I first get them. I'm sure this is gonna feel so weird. That was my biggest thing. I've gone my whole life without having real, boobs at all, truly. To now having boobs, how's that gonna feel? I remember they felt instantly fine. They almost felt, and your mind plays tricks on you. Because I look at pictures and I'm like, they're huge, like they're good. But then in your mind, I think these are just like my old boobs, like because your body kind of absorbs, or your mind absorbs whatever you have into like, okay, yeah, that is my body. You never look at it like, oh, this is a foreign thing. Some people might, but I never did, And I remember the very first thing that I did when I woke up from surgery was I felt my nipples, to make sure I still had sensation. I was like, yes, so none of that. But the weird thing, because you can have patches of numbness, and that's normal. And they always say that'll go away in a couple months, 6 months at the most. So I had all my sensation in my nipples, all that. But right above on this one, like from here to maybe I had this patch that was maybe about this big that was totally numb. And I think a year and a half later, and I just accepted it's just not gonna come back, A year and a half later, I had this feeling, it was tingling, almost like when you have frostbite, like your hands are frozen or your feet are frozen. That feeling when, right before the feeling comes back, the tingling and the aching, like ice pick feelings, that's weird, that's not the right thing to say. Tingling, aching, came back after a year and a half. It's perfectly fine. So it's just your nerves healing. It could have been from, the incision. And also be realistic, I have scoliosis, which a lot of people think like scoliosis, your spine. My spine looks straight from the back, but it curves inward in a different way. And so one of my ribs, like if you looked at my rib cage, literally sits like this. So this boob, my right boob sits back further. So like when you look from the side, they're the same size, but the boob sits back further. So from the front, they look perfectly proportionate. And I even mentioned to my doctor, I was like, should this one be larger? And he said, no, and I'll tell you why. He was like, if someone has a flat rib or a typical rib cage, right? And one volume is smaller, then yeah, and you've already got natural breast tissue, that's when you do the larger or the smaller. You could have different sizes on each side. Mine are 425 on both sides. He was like, if I did that to you from the front, your boob would look like this. You know what I mean? Like one's gonna look like this, one's gonna look smaller. So go to someone that knows what they're doing. Okay, obviously I'm glad. But you gotta just accept, and he said, you know what? That one is always gonna sit back. It's fine, and I never noticed it. Now that I've actually got the larger boobs, I don't notice it as much. When they were much smaller, I really felt that because the boob almost like went in. I know I'm like describing something, you guys are like, Tiffany, my God. But I'm just saying, I really do, I hope if you're watching this, you're not someone else like, I hope that you're into this and that you're a woman or someone that's into boobs and you just are accepting what I'm saying. Okay. Be realistic about your results. So I knew this boob's always gonna sit back a little, but when I got them done, I was just so happy. And you know, they do sit up a little high for a while, and they are gonna take a while to drop. And take your doctor seriously about don't wear anything with a wire. I will link to the recovery bras that I absolutely loved. That I just actually sent to a friend of mine, not my actual bras, but a friend. Now, before, I was always a 34, like, sorry, I had to change it again. I've always been like a 34. I remember I would always buy 34B bras because I would get those giant padded bras, right, for years. And then now I get 36. I'm like a 36D. I think I finally realized, like, with my rib cage, that's what I need. So when you think about that, before, when I bought that recovery bra, I bought a 41 and it was even still tight. So think about that when you buy those recovery bras. Buy them much larger than you think, because they will send you home in one that's so tight and uncomfortable. Okay, whatever. But then, and I guess it just depends too. Like, mine were so high and I didn't need something like really, it just depends, okay? It's all different for everyone. If you've had like a lift and something like really, you know, you've got bigger, larger, heavier boobs, then yeah, you're gonna really want something that's gonna give you a lot of support. Those do, just make sure that you get the right size. Buy them long ahead of time. They're very inexpensive. You can get multiple sizes, figure it out, send back the ones. But just, you know, and then after that, I ordered a bunch of those Calvin Klein bras that were V-neck, which I'll link to some of those. Lived in those forever, and then started wearing just like normal cute bras again. But I kind of wish I hadn't have worn ones for so long, like that second year or first year, because I feel like it didn't allow them to like really, but then I stopped wearing bras like for a while, and I feel like now they're just, you know, they honestly got, I know that's crazy to say, but it just, whatever. Okay, what was I gonna say? And then talking about just the different types, like I remember when I was getting mine done, the gummy bear implants were like all the rage. So glad I didn't get those. Do your research about that. But you know, you just never be fooled by someone that is hawking the latest, greatest, most trendiest thing. Do I look like Mickey Mouse? What is that? Oh, it's my wreath. You know, when I got mine, he was like, this is what I like to use on most people. This is what, you know, and he really talked to me about them, and this is why this is why that. He had a reason why he wanted to do the high profile. I'm so glad that's what we did, because it really gave me my shape, because I didn't have a shape. Do you know what I'm saying? I know that sounds crazy, but it's just all about the person that you go to, truly. And you know, there's great people everywhere. You can find someone great everywhere. About the breast implant illness, about the myriad of other things that you can get from it, which people don't even talk about, which is even more prevalent from the breast implant illness and all that. It's all spelled out for you. People don't need to really be saying, I mean, I get it. People get a lot of their information online, that's fine. But if you really go into it from a standpoint, I'm going to go in, I'm going to talk to my doctor, I'm going to trust it, I'm going to do my own research. The paperwork that they give me, I'm going to take seriously. I'm going to look at that. I'm going to research the risks. I'm going to see, you know what, would that maybe be something that I'm prone to based on other things that have happened in the past? I don't know. There's probably no way to know. But just know that you're going into it like a risk. I'm like itching. It's just different for everybody, you know. About the recovery, I told you about the bras. If you're gonna be in a bed, just have like a TV table next to you, because you're not gonna be able to reach back to your nightstand. Even flushing the toilet, you don't realize what all you do with your chest muscles. You're not gonna be able to reach back to your nightstand all the time. Sitting up and sitting down, oh my gosh, I think I slept at an incline for a lot of the time, and then even when I had to get up, I was like, ooh. But I ended up like down in our theater room, like in our recliners, so that I could like lift myself up and down. And then finally I went crazy down there. I was like, I cannot stay down here like myself. And so I was up in the bed, and you know, just get yourself situated before you get home. But yeah, get a little TV table. I forgot who told me this tip. It was someone that I know on YouTube, and I totally forgot who it was. I think it was Lisa. I think it was Lisa D1. I think she's the one that shared with me about the recovery bras too. But just get a TV table, put it right here so that you can just reach like that, because that doesn't hurt. But ooh, you don't want to reach back, you know what I mean? And little tray tables, have, you know, whatever. And have someone that's going to keep up with your medication. I remember they prescribed me like Percocet or something, and I remember when I had Olivia, I had a hard time with the pain medication, like they made me feel like jumpy. So I just know that I'm not that, but I was really hurting. I was in so much pain, and it said, well, if you're feeling a little, then you could take this. And so I was like maxing it out. And then when I was out of them, like after the first couple days, I felt sick, because if you take all that pain medication, you're not used to it, you're gonna have the withdrawal and you're gonna feel like shit, you know what I mean? It was bad. So I would say take the minimum of, don't be in pain, but accept the fact that you're gonna be in some pain, you know what I mean? And if you start smaller with a larger implant, you're gonna feel it, okay? But get off of the pain meds as fast as you can and just try to go for the Tylenol. I think I could have done that earlier, but I don't know. I've never really taken pain meds much for anything. I'd never really had big surgeries other than my C-section. Since then, I wouldn't have had mammograms. Do it with breast implants. They don't squash the boob. They know what to do. They're not gonna like pop your implant, but they have to gather do you see this motion? Every little bit of that natural breast tissue, which I had a very little amount. If you think they can't, they can do it. They'll find it, they'll get it, and it's fine. Don't worry about it. Just go sit back and just let them do it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you wanna take something before that, okay? Knock yourself out, I don't know. Now, I have been bad about this. So you're supposed to get, not everybody, but I know like my doctor recommended, the first 3 years, 3, 6, and 9, they want you to have an MRI, and I just got like a baby and I didn't do it. So I need to do that because they just want to make sure that nothing's, but with mine, you can tell if they're like, I don't know, but I don't know. They might not be, who knows? So I need to do that, and I think I'm gonna call this week and schedule it and go and just get it over with, you know what I mean? People always say, oh, but it hasn't been, 10 years, you have to get them replaced every 10 years. You really just need to get them replaced when you need to get them replaced. It's not always gonna be 10 years. And my doctor always said they're a medical device. Medical devices are going to fail at some point. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have to have them replaced. Not that something bad's gonna happen, but you just have to go into it from the mindset of like, okay, yeah, one day I might have to get another surgery to like get different ones if something happens. And it's just the risk you take. Nothing is perfect. Nothing is this, okay, I'm gonna actually do this and never have a care in the world. Otherwise, everybody would be doing it. The best we can do is just do our research, have a good attitude about it, go into it with as healthy of a mindset as we possibly can for the right reasons, really evaluate, why am I doing this? Don't do it as a young person thinking, oh, I wanna get married and I wanna find someone to have a relationship with that's gonna accept me. Trust me, you will, okay? Listen, if you've got a good personality and you're like, I think honestly that's better than someone falling in love with you or liking you because of your boobs, okay? Don't do that. Don't do that, okay? Men, women should love you and should appreciate you regardless of what your boobs look like, okay? So that's garbage, but do it for yourself, do you know what I mean? And I just feel so good about it, and I really am happy with it. I don't think it's like, oh, I say it's the best thing ever. It's not, okay? It's not like, oh wow, my life is so much better now. It's just that it's something that I feel more confident about. It helps with my confidence in a healthy way, and I like that I don't have to buy padded bras anymore. Okay, I'll never forget going in there that morning. They always prescribe you Xanax to take before just to get you there. And I was so nervous that morning that I didn't take the Xanax. And I don't know why. I just thought, well, if I take it, I don't want to feel funny. I'm just really weird about I know I'm nuts. Now I'm like, take the Xanax, oh my God. I think I like bit off just a little bit of it and it just didn't do anything. But going in that morning was nerve wracking. But then once I was in and it was fine, but if you ever feel the slightest bit uncomfortable, not uncomfortable, you're gonna feel uncomfortable, you're gonna feel nervous, so maybe that's not the right thing. Pay attention to red flags, make sure they make you feel good. Notice, like, they got a lot of people coming in, this is what they do all day, do you know what I mean? Don't go somewhere, again, that specializes in something else, and they're like, yeah, I can do boobs, don't do that, okay, find someone else. But anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I really hope that I answered some of your questions if you were ever curious. And I love you guys so much, and I hope that you're having a great week. Today I was gonna actually try on some new spring clothes, and the box was supposed to come yesterday, and it just came, and it didn't. They rescheduled it to tomorrow, and the box just came. So, sorry, I've gotta get on here for this call. But I think I wanna try it on, like, the first time with you guys. So I might film that here in the next couple days, and the video might go up a little early next. If not, just expect the video Friday, but if it goes up early next week, don't be alarmed. I might want to get it up just in case if any of it sells out or whatever, which I don't think it will. I might just save it till next Friday. Listen to our podcast this week. We're going to be talking a little bit more about some other plastic surgery things. I have had cool sculpting as well, and there's something going on with that right now I kind of want to talk about, so we're going to cover that in the podcast this week. So check that out. I think now we have 35 ad-free episodes. They're so juicy. Every single topic you can imagine under the sun we've covered at some point. Things that we've never talked about here. So it's a paywall. It's something that's private, so you do get a lot of extra juice, and a lot, not juice, but just things that I would not share here. So check that out. I'll put the link to that below and everything that I mentioned in the video. But I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye.